So update 3.1 for Battlefield 2042 dropped about 3 or 4 days ago now. I do want to apologise for how long this update review has taken to get out. Those who don't know, I run a Star Wars gaming channel and we've had a lot of Star Wars gaming news over the last day or two. So it's just been a little bit of chaos, but we are finally here with the update review. So without wasting any time, let's jump right into my opinions on update 3.1. Now I'm going to try and keep this short and sweet because essentially the entire update was short and sweet. There was a lot of good stuff in here, but it was pretty small for the most part. There's really only like 3 or 4 different points I've got to touch on today. Now the first one is obviously the manifest rework. Updates like this, essentially when it isn't like a season launch or something, the reworked maps are generally like the main focus for me and probably for most people out there. And I don't want to sound too negative or anything like that, because at the end of the day, the changes weren't bad by any means. They haven't made the map worse or anything like that. But for me, the rework of manifest is very meh. It's just not that great to me. It's kind of on par with like renewal and kaleidoscope in that it's definitely not bad, like I said, but it's definitely not changed the map for me personally. I don't really enjoy it any more than I used to, but in saying that, I also don't dislike it more than I used to or anything like that. So I think it has objectively made the map a little bit better in terms of just the lighting, and there is a bit more cover and all that kind of thing. So I think the fact they are just going back and reworking these maps is definitely a positive for the game. But for me personally, these reworks, and especially a map like Manifest that I've never really cared about all that much, it is a very sort of mid-tier rework for me. Some of the reworks have been really good. Orbital was just like a really solid rework. Looks like Breakaway is going to be a really solid one, but unfortunately for me, this one doesn't really hit the same as what I think we were all hoping when they first announced the map reworks. Now moving on, we also got some new vault weapons, obviously, which we are pretty much getting in every single update now, and I went through and counted the weapons the other day, and there's like 46 or something like that. So the amount of weapons in the game now has really like crept up on me, and I didn't actually know that there was so many when you actually think about the fact that I think the game launched with 22 including pistols. So the vault weapons are definitely a great addition. These ones do seem to play really well so far. I haven't unlocked the pistol just yet, but I did unlock the M416 and the M240B, and they both seem to play pretty solid. The M416 is definitely one of my absolute favorite guns in all of Battlefield. It was obviously in Battlefield 3, and I believe it was one of the very early weapons in Battlefield 4 as well, and so I was definitely very keen to get my hands on that. And like I said, they do tend to play pretty well in all-out warfare. Now, one of the other main things they mentioned in this update was that they changed the gameplay responsiveness focused around weapon reload animations and audio. For me personally, I did not notice anything here. I tried to really sort of pay attention. I even went back and watched some of my gameplay, tried to compare it, and for me personally, I just didn't really notice a difference. Now, I'm not going to say that that's a bad thing. Sometimes with changes like this, if you don't notice it, it's kind of a good thing. So I don't really have an opinion on that, but I thought it was just worth mentioning that despite trying to look around for the changes there, I actually didn't really notice anything to do with the reload animations and stuff. But again, if you don't notice those things, that's probably a good thing at the end of the day. Now, that is pretty much it for the update, to be honest. There was a lot of like bug fixes and stuff like that, but they were all pretty small things, so none of it feels like there was anything, drastic change or anything like that. But I will say that all of those very small, tiny bug fixes, they do really start to add up, and that's why the game feels a lot better today than it did like 6 months ago, for example. And so those shouldn't go unnoticed, even though we don't really notice them in game. We shouldn't just brush them off and go, oh, that didn't really change anything, because at the end of the day, they really are improving the game as we go. So hopefully they keep up with those bug fixes and essentially just always try to keep improving that side of the game. Like I said, it was a pretty small update this time. They only actually had, I think it was like 2 weeks, maybe 3 since the last update. We are obviously leading into Christmas, and I know that over in Sweden, they do have like a long break for Christmas. This sort of happens every single year with DICE games. So it was always going to be a bit of a smaller update. We now have about a 6-week, potentially even more, wait until update 3.2, which is a little bit disappointing, but again, it is the Christmas period. They've definitely put in a lot of work this year, and I think they will deserve a break. So it somewhat sucks for the players, but that's just how these things go. But regardless, I'm definitely very excited for Breakaway, which should be coming in late January. That is going to do it for this one though, guys. Like I said, it was a very short one, but that is mostly just because of the size of the update in general. I'm keen to hear what you guys think, so let me know down in the comments. I know that Manifest is pretty divisive in terms of whether people like it or not, so let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. That is going to do it for this one though, guys. Thank you all very much for watching. You guys have a great day, and I'll see you all out there on the battlefield.